Ryan starts contributing to his 401k at 25. Kevin starts contributing to his 401k at 35. They both contribute the same amount every month. They both retire at the same age. Ryan retires with nearly double Kevin's balance. And the reason has nothing to do with how much they saved. It has everything to do with when they started. Let's run the real math. Let's make this completely fair. Ryan and Kevin are both smart, hardworking people. Same career path, same salary. They both earn $65,000 a year. They both contribute $500 a month to their 401k. They both retire at 65. The only difference is Ryan starts at 25 and Kevin starts at 35. 10 years. That is the entire gap. 10 years that changes everything. Ryan starts contributing at 25. He contributes $500 a month for 40 years. His total lifetime contributions are $240,000. At 10% average annual return, his 401k at retirement is approximately $3,162,000 to $3,400,000. Kevin starts contributing at 35. He contributes $500 a month for 30 years. His total lifetime contributions are $180,000. At 10% average annual return, his 401k at retirement is approximately $1,130,000 to $1,230,000. Ryan retires with approximately $3,200,000. Kevin retires with approximately $1,180,000. Ryan has roughly $2 million more than Kevin. Ryan contributed only $60,000 more over his lifetime. That $60,000 became a $2 million gap. That is the compounding multiplier on early years. Let's slow this down because most people hear these numbers and assume there must be a mistake. There is no mistake. This is compound interest working exactly as designed. And the mechanism behind it is something most people fundamentally misunderstand. Most people think of compound interest as earning interest on interest. That is technically correct, but it misses the real power. The real power of compound interest is not the rate, it is the time. Specifically, it is the exponential relationship between time and growth. In a linear relationship, twice the time produces twice the result. In an exponential relationship, twice the time produces dramatically more than twice the result. Ryan had 40 years. Kevin had 30 years. That extra 10 years did not add 33% more wealth. It added 170% more wealth. That is the exponential multiplier in action. Let's look at what Ryan's first $500 contribution at age 25 actually becomes by retirement. That single $500 contribution at 10% annual return for 40 years grows to approximately $22,600. 1 month of contributions, $500, becomes $22,600. Kevin's first $500 contribution at age 35 grows for only 30 years. It becomes approximately $8,725. Same $500. Same return, different time. Ryan's $500 produced $22,600. Kevin's $500 produced $8,725. The 10-year difference turned one $500 into $13,875 more from a single contribution, multiplied across every month of contributions for 10 years. This is why the gap is $2 million and not $60,000. Here's the decade that matters most. Ryan's contributions from age 25 to 35. That single decade of early contributions. Let's calculate exactly what that decade produces by retirement. Ryan contributed $500 a month from 25 to 35. Total contributions in that decade, $60,000. At age 35, that $60,000 has already grown to approximately $102,000. But Ryan does not touch it. That $102,000 sits in his account and compounds for another 30 years at 10%. By retirement, that $102,000 grows to approximately $1,780,000. Kevin's entire 30 years of contributions produces approximately $1,180,000. Ryan's first 10 years alone, his contributions from age 25 to 35 produces approximately $1,780,000. Ryan's first decade outperforms Kevin's entire career of contributions by $600,000. This is the most important number in this entire video. Ryan's first decade of contributions produces more wealth than Kevin's 3 decades of contributions. Not a little more, $600,000 more, from the same $500 a month, from the only variable that matters, time. Now let's talk about the excuses, because the excuses are real and they deserve honest responses. I cannot afford to contribute to my 401k at 25. This is the most common reason, and it is worth examining carefully. At 25, most people have entry-level salaries, student loan payments, and high rent relative to income. These are real constraints, but let's run the numbers on what it actually costs to wait. Every month Kevin delayed starting his 401k cost him approximately $5,500 in retirement wealth, not $500, $5,500. Because each month of early contributions compounds for decades. The question is not whether you can afford to contribute. The question is whether you can afford not to. Even $100 a month started at 25 produces more retirement wealth than $200 a month started at 35. I will start when I earn more money. This sounds rational. It is financially catastrophic. The math shows that starting small early always beats starting big late. $100 a month from age 25 at 10% return grows to approximately $637,000 by age 65. $200 a month from age 35 grows to approximately $452,000 by age 65. Half the monthly contribution started 10 years earlier produces $185,000 more at retirement. Starting when you earn more sounds responsible. The math says it is the most expensive financial decision most people make. I have other financial priorities right now. Student loans, emergency fund, car payment. These priorities are legitimate. And there is a specific order that optimizes them. First, capture your employer's full 401k match. If your employer matches 50% of contributions up to 3% of salary, that match is a guaranteed 50% return on your money. Nothing in any other financial priority gives you a guaranteed 50% return. Capture the full match first, even if the contribution amount is small. Then build your emergency fund. Then attack high-interest debt. Then increase your 401k contributions. The match alone justifies starting immediately, regardless of other priorities. I do not understand investing, so I will wait until I do. Learning about investing is valuable. Waiting while you learn is expensive. The simplest possible 401k strategy, putting everything in a target date fund and contributing consistently, outperforms most sophisticated strategies over 30 years. You do not need to understand investing to start. You need a target date fund and an automatic contribution. The complexity can come later. The contributions cannot. Let's look at a middle ground scenario because life is not always binary. What if Kevin started at 30 instead of 35, just 5 years earlier than his current start date? Kevin at 30 contributes $500 a month for 35 years. His retirement balance is approximately $1,920,000. That is $740,000 more than starting at 35, from 5 years, from $30,000 in extra contributions. That $30,000 became $740,000, a 24-to-1 multiplier. What if Kevin started at 32, just 3 years earlier than 35? Kevin at 32 contributes $500 a month for 33 years. His retirement balance is approximately $1,560,000. That is $380,000 more than starting at 35, from 3 years, from $18,000 in extra contributions. Every single year of delay cost Kevin approximately $125,000 to $130,000 in retirement wealth. Every single year. Here's the number that should make this decision impossible to delay. If Kevin is currently 35 and has not started yet, starting today versus starting 1 year from now costs him approximately $125,000 in retirement wealth. 1 year, $125,000. The cost of waiting is not abstract. It is $125,000 per year in lost retirement wealth. Ryan and Kevin both wanted the same retirement: financial security, freedom to stop working when they chose, enough money to not be dependent on anyone. Ryan achieved it by starting when he could not really afford to. Kevin achieved something meaningful but significantly less by waiting until it felt more comfortable. The financial advice machine has been telling people to start saving for retirement for decades. Most people hear the advice and agree with it in principle. Then they delay. Because 25 feels young. Because retirement feels distant. Because $500 a month feels significant when you are just starting out. None of those feelings are wrong. But none of them are more powerful than the math. And the math is this: every year you delay starting your 401k costs you more in retirement wealth than most people earn in 3 months of work. At a $65,000 salary, 3 months of gross income is roughly $16,000. But we showed the annual delay cost is $125,000. You are giving up $125,000 in retirement wealth to keep $6,000 in current cash flow per year. That trade gets worse every single year you make it. So the next time you think about waiting one more year to start your 401k, ask yourself one question: what is 1 year of waiting actually costing me in retirement dollars? Because the answer to that question is already calculated. And it is a number that makes the cost of starting today feel like the easiest financial decision you will ever make.